This is my mastery project for Module 2, Stages in Guided Reading. So the first stage is the Pre-A reader. At the beginning of this stage, students typically know fewer than 40 upper and lowercase letters. They also lack concepts of print. Foundational skills taught at this level are letter names and sounds, letter formation, phonological awareness, concepts of print, as well as oral language. This is typically the kiddos that are coming into the education for the first time, so like kindergartners, pre-Kers, those youngsters. The assessment typically used for pre-A readers is letter/sound assessment. There's an image of that, what that looks like here at the bottom. Typically, this is used to help the teacher understand which letters and sounds the students are struggling with, and it also gives them a guide to how they can determine their group formations depending on like the results. How this is filled out is the kiddos are given the letters, they're asked to say the names. If they get incorrect, the teacher highlights it so that they know which ones that the kiddos need to work on. Same thing with sounds, they are given a letter, and they're asked to say the sound. Again, if the kiddo gets it incorrect, it gets highlighted. This is administered weekly until the kiddos show mastery in all letters and sounds. Next stage is the emergent reader. At the beginning of this stage, students know how to write their name without any support such as like stencils or things like that, or they're not tracing their letters. They are able to identify at least 40 uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as at least 8 sounds. Foundational skills taught at this level, kiddos learn to know all letters and sounds. They match 1-to-1. They're using meaning, structure, and initial letters to figure out unknown words, so they're like beginning that decoding. They're also forming letters correctly. Assessments for emergent readers. There's a few different assessments used, such as like sight words, dictated sentences, running records, letters and sounds. I really like the running records. I feel like you can learn a lot from that. One of the other more common ones used is the sight word chart. The kiddos are given sight words. They're asked to read them. If they get it correctly, if they read it correctly, you just check it. I put a little X there. If they read it incorrectly, you can either leave it blank or I put a little dash there, meaning that they attempted it. That's just a couple of the assessments for emergent readers. This is the assessment summary chart. For emergent readers, you put the kiddo's name there, the level book that they're reading there. If they're able to know the letters and sounds, you record like the number correct out of the number given. Identifying sight words, again, you record that number. Here's sounds and words, so they're kind of breaking it up, like starting to do decoding here. They're using pictures, whether they did that or not, to help them figure out the words on the page. They're also using first sight words and then cross-checking. Next stage is early reader. At the beginning of this stage, students typically know letters and sounds. They know how to like one-on-one match. And they're also using pictures. Foundational skills taught at this level, kiddos are starting to monitor for meaning and structure. They're monitoring for visual information. They're rereading at points of difficulty. They're also using strategic actions to solve words, and they're reading familiar books with expression and phrasing. So they are starting to use that, starting to develop the fluency a little bit. So assessments for early readers, there's a couple different assessments. One's the reading conferences, and then the other one's a spelling assessment. Reading conferences are where the teacher meets with the kiddo one-on-one or in a small group, and they work on something that the kiddo is struggling with. It could be, fluency or decoding or something like that, and the teacher is teaching them different strategies to help them. This has been very beneficial for kiddos. It really helps them having that one-on-one with a teacher. This is the assessment chart for early readers. It's not as detailed as the previous ones. Again, you put the kiddo's name there, you put the level of the book that they're reading, you check if they're self-monitoring for meaning and visuals, solving words, reading fluently, giving them a score on that if they're retelling what they read, and spelling phonetically if they're reading it. Next one is transitional reader. At the beginning of this stage, students know an increasing number of sight words. Other skills vary depending on the student's ability. I typically kind of think of this stage as like kind of the gray stage, just because there's such a wide variety of skills that the kiddos can be learning or developing at this stage. Foundation skills taught, the kiddos are starting to comprehend longer and more complex text. They're really focusing on decoding, developing that fluency, and also retelling. Assessments for transitional readers. Word knowledge inventory is used, as well as reading conferences. One of the things in reading conferences, they work on retelling. This here is something that was found in Appendix G is like shared retelling cards. This can be used to help the kiddos, help cue them to start retelling the different events throughout the book. It helps to build that comprehension. This is the assessment summary chart for transitional readers. Again, kiddos name there, the range, self-monitoring, solves words, reading fluently, give them another score, retelling, and word study, as well as any other information that you feel like needs to be recorded. And then fluent readers. This is the last stage. At the beginning of this stage, students typically have automaticity with word recognition. They're also flexible with their word solving strategies. This is the stage that we typically would like the upper elementary, middle schoolish to be at. Some of the foundational skills taught. They identify main ideas and important details. They're making inferences. They're summarizing, analyzing relationships with characters and ideas. This is typically the stage where the kiddos aren't just reading. They are digging deeper within the text, like they're kind of reading between the lines, making those inferences and things like that. Assessments for fluent readers. Again, the word knowledge inventory, as well as reading conference with comprehension interview. This is an example of the word knowledge inventory. The kiddo is given a word, breaks it down to short vowel, if they're saying that correctly, they're doing the digraph, initial blend, final blend, and all that stuff there. This is the assessment chart for fluent readers and narrative text. So again, this is filled out each time that you're working with a kiddo. It gives a little direction up here on how to score this. R is retelling, Q as is any answer questions, S is summarizing, V applies vocabulary strategies, AC analyzes characters, I inferences, and E evaluates. So you're going to check that anytime that they're doing that. And again, there's another column here just so that you can add any other information of the things that happen in the conference. So readers at my level, readers level in my student teaching placement, I am placed in a 5th grade math classroom, but I've started working with the reading teacher a little bit here, and a lot of the kiddos, I would say, is at the fluent level here. The reason I say that is because they're working on gaining a deeper comprehension. They're also starting to make those inferences, digging a little bit deeper into the meaning of the text, things like that. There are quite a few kiddos that are transitional, or I shouldn't say quite a few. There's a decent amount of kiddos that could be considered transitional, but I think overall, the majority of them are fluent there. So that is the end of my presentation. So thank you for watching.